And then I ran it. Rob Whittaker was at the same after party, and I ran into him in the elevator, and he's like, "Mate, that was fucking nuts. What was going on there?" I was like, "Mate, that was wild."
The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. UFC 284, man, you get the unanimous decision, get your first UFC victory. A couple days have passed. What stood out most to you about that fight?
The crowd for sure stood out most. That crowd was insane. Like I had people there who were at the Olympics in 2000 here in Sydney. People who have been over to huge sporting events, and they said the energy in that crowd was just unmatched. So, and I definitely felt that when I walked out. I was sort of behind the curtain when Don walked out, and the way they booed him, and he had given them no reason to boo him, and I thought, geez, they're going to go nuts when I walk out here if that's how they're responding to him. And it was true. Like when I walked out, it just erupted. And, then I managed to sneak back in to watch the main card. And just the energy in there was insane. Like even Mick Maynard was kind of like, he was sitting just in front of me. And Mick Maynard was like filming around the crowd just because they were just going nuts. So it was a special event.
For sure, man. It was special. And, for someone making his debut, there was a lot of attention on you since, you're in your home country, media, interviews, and so on, man. What were the nerves like all week ahead of the fight?
Look, for the whole fight, out the back of the fight, really good. Probably until maybe 2 minutes before we walked out. And then I went, oh, shit, I'm a bit jittery. And I sort of made an agreement with my coaches after the contender fight that I'd be a bit more honest about how I was feeling time to time. And I said he said, I would be more worried if you weren't a little bit more jittery than normal. Like this is what you worked for a long time. He said, just go out there and do your thing. And then as soon as we were behind the curtain and my music came on, I was like, all right, I'm back now. And then I was just smiling. Like you could probably tell in that walkout that I was just enjoying the moment. It was phenomenal. And like the UFC staff, honestly, like from like the people who take care of you on the ground, at the hotel and out the back and everything, they have the best staff in the world. Like the way they treat you, it's like it doesn't matter if you're the start of the prelims or the main card. They treat you like an absolute superstar. And the UFC made me feel so welcome and so important. So the whole thing was great.
Phenomenal. And Don, he went to the hospital after the fight to get x-rays. Any news on that? Did you hear anything?
Yeah, no break, but he's not allowed to fly. The doctors are really worried about all the swelling. So he's been grounded in Perth. So he's just still kicking about the hotel over there. I'm actually in contact with him because he's coming over to the East Coast. So I just wanted to make sure that while he was over here, he got looked after. So he's got like a few restaurants and stuff like that I've sorted out here that he's going to have like free dinner and drinks on all night. And a few people are going to show him around the cities that he's in. And, I'm hoping that he gets down to Melbourne because that's when I can really show him a good time because this is my city. But, he'll be looked after for the rest of his trip here, which is good.
Your shins, man, like what are they made of? Like, people are talking about, you breaking other people's legs. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah, I've got like, so how we do DEXA scans sometimes to see how much body fat and stuff we have? So when I get my DEXA scans done, every scan I've ever done, I'm in like the top 2 percentile for bone density. Like I have real high bone density. I've never had any issues with like broken arms and stuff as a kid or anything like that. So, my Uncle Goose and Auntie Mares used to run a dairy farm, and we used to just drink a heap of milk. So I don't know. I think that might have something to do with it. Me and my cousins just used to cause a ruckus on the farm and drink milk in the morning.
Do you condition your legs on top of that?
No, not like I don't think the like kicking bamboo trees and stuff. Like I don't know if any of that stuff works. It's just a bit of pain tolerance. Mine have been because I've been kicking hard since I was a kid, like hard bags and hard shin pads and that sort of stuff. I think there's just some natural conditioning that occurs, but I don't like do any of that like rolling with steel poles or anything like that. I don't know if there's any actual science to back up the fact that makes them stronger.
in the fight, you landed this like front kick to Don's face, man, and he just ate that. You know what I mean? Like, did you hit him with
Yeah.
anything where you're like, whoa, this dude is super tough?
Everything I hit him with, I thought he was super tough. But I knew that, like, I could feel it. I could feel his energy. I knew he was going to feed off the booze and stuff because I'm the same. I knew like that kind of brings out the dog in you. Like there's a bit of well, you want to boo me? Fuck you. Like, so I knew he was there for that. So when Bruce Buffer was in the middle, neither of us looked at Bruce Buffer once. Like neither of us. We were just eye to eye the whole time before. So I was fully expecting it to be like a bit of a dog fight. And you saw like I think I was getting clearly the better of him in the exchanges on the feet. But he was still throwing, and then in the grappling exchanges, I think I was probably getting the better, but he kept moving the whole time. Like he was squirmy as he didn't want to, he wouldn't accept one position. And then even every time we got up, he kept coming forward, I kept coming forward. So I think it was probably a perfect debut in the UFC because I fought a guy who was tough and fit and wasn't going to go away, but who I probably had his measure in those areas. So I think it was a really good debut for me, and there's things I can work on and take away from that, but I'm not injured or anything, so I can go straight back to the gym. Like I was back in the gym yesterday morning helping my teammate Khan get ready for his Hex title fight. I was back in the gym this morning. Now I'm just at the shops getting my missus a Valentine's gift.
It's all good. It's all good, man. And you went 3 hard rounds, man. Like, how long does it usually take for you to recover from a fight normally?
It differs all the time. The big thing is recovering from me just binge eating myself for like 3 or 4 days and letting my stomach recover. But I've actually been pretty good this time. I got up and went straight back to the gym, which helps keep some normalcy. So I've just got like the usual scraped up knee pads from the rough canvas. I've got a bit of that. A little bit of swelling in my ankle from kicking. But everything else is really good. So I'm really excited. Like I messaged my coaches and just said how excited I am because I think I only scratched the surface in that performance, but it still showed enough for people to be excited about me. Like, just look at talking to some of the other media guys like Brett Okamoto and guys like that, just saying that they're really excited to watch me move forward because I think I showed some glimpses of the talent I have and that I have a really high ceiling in the sport.
For sure. And the after party, the celebration, like how was that?
It was wild, man. It was nuts for me because I didn't have any like proper security organized or anything, and I couldn't even. I had to leave. I had to leave because it was just like I kept getting separated from people, and there was just too much. There was a bit too much going on for me, so I just went back to the hotel and went to bed. I said to my coaches, my coaches were on their way coming to the event, and I said, "Don't come down, boys. I'm leaving. This is too hectic for me." And then Rob Whittaker was at the same after party, and I ran into him in the elevator, and he's like, "Mate, that was fucking nuts. What was going on there?" I was like, "Mate, that was wild." So, yeah, it was good. I got to hang out with my friends for a little bit, and then me and my coaches just went out for a quiet dinner. It was nice.
The private jet. What's up with that? Tell me about that.
I've got some good friends. That's all. That is.
You got some good friends. Yeah, it sure looks like
I'll play that one pretty close to my chest for a while. But it was
okay.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. I will say that my girlfriend we couldn't get her on flights home to be home for the same time as me, so she wasn't due to fly home until today, and a friend of mine heard about that and said, no, we'll make sure you get you home, and that's how that worked out.
Phenomenal, man. You said May or June, anywhere in America, like what kind of fighting style do you want to face next?
I don't know. I haven't even thought about it, to be honest. Like I'm still kind of just processing the things that I need to work on from Don and make sure they don't happen again. I don't know. I think maybe there's like 20% of the people in the UFC could probably go with me on the feet at featherweight, and then the other 80% are going to want to take it to the ground. So yeah, we'll see who the UFC gives me. Hopefully they see the potential in me that some other people have seen, and they try and give me a pathway that makes sense in terms of building me up at the right time, and allowing me to sort of build into a career that's going to be really successful. But instead,
I know you're back at your home gym helping your teammates out, but do you plan on going out to the States and training out there a little bit? Maybe before you
Um,
fight?
yeah. So when I fight over there, I will go for at least 3 weeks, like probably more like 3.5. Just I said to Brett Okamoto, I said, I want to nail that process of like doing a camp here, but then getting out there early enough to adjust. Because I think I did it really poorly for Contender Series. And I see myself as a big fight guy. So if all my big fights, let's say at least half of them or more are going to be in the US. So I need to really nail that process early in my career. That's why I want to go back to the US as quick as I can.
And one last thing, man, the main event for UFC 284. What'd you think of that fight, man? One of the best fights we've ever seen.
One of the best we've ever seen. Volk is the best we've ever seen. I had it 2-2 going into the fifth, and I thought Volk won the fifth clearly. He's a phenomenal human. And so is Islam as well. Like, I don't take anything away from Islam. It could have gone either way. Like, it was such a close fight. But for Volk to do that, and it just gives all of us such confidence to watch him do it and watch him do it well. He's unbelievable. The main event, that was so special. I'm glad I was there and I got to witness it and be a part of the event. That was pretty, like, looking back on it, that's going to be pretty surreal to say I fought on that event.
Well, where do you want to be, like, within the next 2 years of your career?
2 years, I want to have had at least one shot at the title or be a title holder. 12 months, by the end of this year, I want to be 3-0 or 4-0 and have a number next to my name. And then 2024, you're only from there 1 or 2 fights away from a title. And at the UFC, when we come back to Melbourne, I said my real goal is when the UFC comes back to Melbourne, I'm on the main card. Like, yeah, that's my big, like, realistic goal that I don't think is out of the realm of possibility. That when I come back, I got a number next to my name and I'm on the main card.
Sounds good, man.
I think if you're the UFC, that makes sense for you too. Like, given the reception that I got when I was in Perth, and that's not even my hometown, it's a 4-hour flight away. You bring it back to Melbourne and have me on that card, it's going to be huge.
Jack, appreciate you taking your time and recapping the event. We'll speak soon, man. When they announce your next fight, we'll get on here again.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for your time.